Like ferrets aren't like I've held ferrets before.
Have you ever been naked in a tub of water with an animal that hates water
Ferrets don't hate
and
water.
possibly has rabies?
Ferrets don't hate water.
I'm assuming that if you dropped a ferret into a dirty bathtub, it would hate you.
I don't think so.
You want to try it?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, take your pants off.
All right. Well, we should get the ferret first.
Maggie.
And now time for The Viewing Room with Adam and Ethan.
Welcome to the viewing room where we talk about films new and old, local and global.
Now hit our theme song.
That is a reference to CCO's Sidewalk Slam, or just CCO,
just
in,
CCO in
general.
general.
Yeah. I said Sidewalk Slam. Yeah,
Sidewalk
season 3 is
Slam.
out now.
Sidewalk Slam season 3 out now.
Another show on our network that does big things. One day, Ryan, I'm looking at you. Maybe we'll get there. My grandma's told a lot of her church friends about us, and we're nipping at your heels, buddy. So look out. Okay, The Big Lebowski, released on March 6, 1998. The same day Twilight was released. Maybe a little bit pertinent. Robert Pattinson went from starring in Twilight to now being like an actual beloved actor in films like The Batman or Mickey 17, which released on Friday. Those are different movies, though. So we're gonna focus on The Big Lebowski for a bit. It had a budget of 15 million USD, which, yeah, I can see. And
that's pretty,
it grossed 48 million roughly. There's different sources, but we're looking at 40, 50 million. So
yeah, I mean, it's respectable.
yeah, exactly. It made some money, right? And I feel like there is still people who consider this to be like a cult classic, staple Coen brother film. I'm in the boat, and I think it's kind of a weaker Coen brothers film.
I mean, it's on the 100 the movies poster you got me, the 100 best movie posters movies of all time. I can't agree with that one.
I can't.
I'm sorry.
I can't either. I enjoy it. I think it's a good movie, and we'll talk about why I don't think
it's
it's
fun.
like it's. I see why for a lot of people it's like a classic, a cool movie, but like, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I think it can be a classic and still be a shitty movie. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like there's like movies that are crappy that you like. Like, you know, it's like lovable crappiness. You know what I mean? And then there's like good movies. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't think this is a crappy movie, but like I can
know,
see
not
how some
crappy,
people think
but-
it is like a little like bad taste or things like that. I do think there's a lot of smart humor. You know, I think my favorite moment in the film has to be when he barricades the door and then it opens from the other side.
Yeah, I love that. That was so funny.
That's hilarious. It's funny, right? You know, when he thinks he finds a clue in the mansion and it's just the dick drawing, like hilarious. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's like smart, witty humor, right? And I think that's kind of what attributes to its classic nature and some of the dialogue, right?
Yeah. For me, like part of the problem with it is the story just feels like it kind of just jounces along. Like it sometimes it's going and sometimes it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, and sometimes it makes perfect sense and sometimes it's really confusing.
The dude abides, man.
I don't know.
I think and so that was almost a criticism I had because like I feel like the pacing, while like I didn't have any problems with pacing necessarily, like the plot itself is like, wait, hold on a second, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was almost done purposely because you have the character like the dude who is literally just like not insane, but like such a weird character that's like I'm gonna use the word. It's a weird character. He's a weird dude.
Well, I mean, like I said before we started the episode, dude is Gary.
Yes.
Formerly producer Gary of the Viewing Room. Now we don't need a producer. But
former producer of the Viewing Room, yeah.
Gary, the founder of Damn. It's him. The hair, the beard, the bathrobe,
Yeah.
the sandals. I
Yeah.
remember the first
Yeah.
time that I saw Gary wear shoes and not
Mhm.
like sandals or slippers, and it was like, this is weird. I don't like this. This is abnormal.
Mhm.
It's just Gary.
Yeah, it is Gary, and yeah, I don't know. That's why I feel like, in my opinion, the plot is kind of trying to be more like his character, where you know what I mean. It's
Mhm.
very like he repeats things that other people says, like when he hears people do speeches or stuff like that, or say something, he uses it in the next scene instead of coming up with anything new himself. He like,
Well, and also like
you know what I
even
mean?
within a conversation, so you know he'll start trying to say something. He talks so slowly that by that point the person has interrupted him, and he has important information that he wants to tell them. You know, by this point they've interrupted him and started talking about something else, and then he has to repeat it, and then the conversation has moved on and never actually told them the important thing that he needs to tell them. Like
Yeah.
half the bad stuff in this movie could have been prevented if he just talked a little faster and got to the point quicker.
A little less high.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. We have
But
a
then
s-
shit like this doesn't happen. This whole studio wouldn't have happened if Gary wasn't high 24/7.
Yes. And believe that up to the world's interpretation if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yes.
Star-studded cast. We have Jeff Bridges, who, in my
Yeah.
opinion, gives kind of a legendary performance as the dude. I think it's such a weird, lazy character, such a strange lifestyle that, like, hold on a second. Maybe like Jeff Bridges actually like nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he made this weird lifestyle look more appealing to other people in a way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I mean, we can talk about that too. But John Goodman's also in it.
Yep.
I mean, John Goodman, he absolutely nails it. I love John Goodman as an actor,
Yep.
but in this film as Walter, he
Yeah.
just absolutely like jing jing.
I'll be honest, the
nails it.
acting, like you say, the star-studded cast, and then the acting.
And the
is really good,
chemistry
and the
between
good- yeah.
between Jeff and John and Steve, like together. Steve Buscemi also in it. I forget the name of his character that he plays. But
What was it?
I don't know.
Donnie.
Donnie? Is that what his name was? Then he dies.
Hold on. Let's
Spoiler
look
alert.
this up.
I don't know. I feel like they had really solid chemistry. I like just start to finish. They worked together, and the dialogue is so random and wacky and weird, but for some reason they make it work. Like I don't think it could have worked with a lot of other groups of people, and I think
Mhm.
when you have someone as, I mean, I think Walter's character John Goodman, John Goodman's character Walter is very jarring. He's like, "You ever heard of Nam, kid?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything comes back to Vietnam, which I find hilarious.
And that's like mostly his personality is Vietnam, right? And then like you have laid back Jeff Bridges, but like I feel like they meld together really well that it makes the most unnatural, weird scenarios feel natural to this world. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like this is designed for these characters.
Donnie. That's right.
It's Donnie. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Obviously directed by Ethan and Joel Coen. I did say I think this is one of the weaker Coen Brothers films. Obviously, we have Fargo, right? We have No Country for Old Men. I'm sure you're just 4 Coen Brothers movies on that
Oh, yeah.
top 100 movies.
I mean, they're legendary. They're legendary for a reason. But
I think out of like the Coen Brothers films I've watched, it's probably a little weaker one. I
It
just
is.
don't think it's as crazy, but I did really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I just think if you're comparing it to like No Country for Old Men or Fargo, I'm like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
Really? Are we really doing this? But whatever, right? And those are the more popular ones, but you know, just
yeah, no, I
for
got
the
you.
sake
I
of
agree.
appealing to as many people.
I agree. It's the same thing. Like we always talk about it. How do you how does the enjoyment? Because I mean, ultimately, movies are for enjoyment. So
Yeah.
how do you enjoy it? And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching it. I had a good laugh while I was watching it, and
Yeah,
was fun.
exactly. There's some really funny moments,
Yeah.
and for me,
I'm just gonna turn the heater off.
like before we go into like a big synopsis, I wanted to say like for me, I think this movie is kind of best enjoyed in pieces almost, and I don't say that about a lot of movies, right? Because I think start to finish is the best, but there's so many like smart moments in this film that I feel I don't know. I feel like one of the best ways to watch this film is by going onto YouTube and seeing like those movie channels that post like 8 different clips of
Yeah.
the film. I feel like
It's the
that's
same
kind of the
thing.
best way to watch this film is like
Honestly, I've had that with like, you know, that 70s show.
yeah, sure.
So I started getting a whole bunch of YouTube shorts for it.
Wait, which 70s show?
The original that 70s show called That 70s Shows.
What?
It's a show called That 70s Show.
Yeah, what
That
show?
is the name of the show.
What show are you talking about? What show in the 70s?
You're pulling my leg.
Yeah, I'm pulling your leg.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's like a who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Yeah.
Anyway, That 70s Show. And I kept getting a whole bunch of clips for it on YouTube. Like, oh, this looks fun. Okay, I'm going to try watching it. I got like 5 minutes into the first episode. I'm like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. I don't want to watch this. I'm just going to keep watching the YouTube shorts for it.
Yeah. It's like the cold opens. Sometimes
Mhm.
before like a comedy TV show, the cold open is the best part of the episode for some
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I think this movie, and I hate to say it, but I think this movie might be best enjoyed in like 8 parts. You
Oh, I
know-
could totally
you
see
know-
that.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And maybe that's controversial, but that's just how I felt. Like, you know, there's some
Mhm.
really big laughs here and there, and I feel like just as a whole, it might just be easiest to digest this movie by looking at the clips.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, you're
right. Especially if like weird stoner films like that kind of sense.
Yeah.
And I know it's called like we're gonna call it a stoner movie, right?
Mhm.
It just doesn't like again when you're comparing it to like other Coen Brothers movies, right? No
Yep.
Country for Old Men, especially because that's my favorite one. It's like whoa, what happened here? Comparison is a thief of joy, right? I'll throw that out there. I didn't come up with that statement.
I haven't
You
seen-
looked at me like I was very profound.
No, I just haven't seen that movie.
Oh. Really?
No.
No Country for Old Men?
No, not No Country for Old Men. The other one. What was it?
Fargo.
No. Fucking. Hold on. Am I going crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I just feel like, yeah, you can't really compare the two.
Yeah.
Two very different movies. But I'm just like, I'm using it to comparison.
You know, I
As
got
much
you.
as you can argue that like comparison isn't good, it is very good actually. Actually, in my
I mean,
opinion,
you're
it
always
is-
going to be compared.
Yeah.
Even subconscious, you're always being compared. So why not?
It's not good or bad. It's unavoidable.
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
My, in
Yeah,
my
that's
opinion.
a really good statement.
And so yes, I'm going to compare their works, and I feel like I'm gonna stop comparison. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Do a
comparing anymore.
synopsis now.
I'm reading a synopsis. Jeff, the dude Lebowski, mistaken for a millionaire of the same name, seeks restitution for his ruined rug. Feet on it, and enlists his bowling buddies to help get it. Kind of a big thing in this movie is the bowling, right? We have all of our characters meeting up in the bowling alley to talk, and a big staple for this actions in this movie is, but we can't go too far because like we don't want to miss our bowling tournament, right? Funny enough, you never see the dude bowl once in this whole movie.
Mm-hmm. I noticed that.
Not a single time. Kind of weird. No, not once does the dude who's in this professional bowling league bowl.
I'm guessing
As our main
that's
character.
because he can't actually bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for somebody that's supposed to have bowled that much, he should probably be a better bowler than he would actually be.
Well, they just don't show him playing, which is just kind of interesting. Especially since at the end, Walter's like, let's go bowling. That's like the last line of the
Mhm.
film, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Or one of like the closing
Yeah.
whatever scenes. But we start out, the dude, he's a bit of a dude. He's kind
He's
of
a
the term we'll use is the dude abides. He kind of lives his life how he lives it. He doesn't really change. He doesn't really grow. And his character doesn't in this movie. And that might be a problem for some people because that strays away from a lot of what movies are supposed to be, where you have a character that learns and grows and develops. But the dude doesn't really do any
Mhm.
of those things. The dude abides.
Mhm.
Goosebumps, man. Literally goosebumps.
Mhm.
He's a stoner. He's he's kind of broke. He writes a check, but it's dated for like a year after, based on the speech that's playing. So that's funny.
I love Sam Elliott narrating it. His voice is perfect for that narration.
Yeah. Here's how it feels to drive a Ford F-150. The dude abides. Jeff Bridges is so good.
It's also weird to see Sam Elliott that young, because I haven't watched many movies with him from his younger days.
He doesn't look that young in this movie, though. He
Yeah,
got
but
the
compared to now-
mustache and everything.
Compared to now, like how clear and smooth his skin is,
Yeah,
compared to
back
now.
then. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, it looks like his hands, like, when your hands get wrinkled, like his face did that. So just like wrinkled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why you have to have the comparison to that?
Crazy metaphor, dude. Like, yeah, he got old. 2 words could have fixed that whole sentence, but yeah, it is interesting. Dude is just kind of like, he's just a dude. He goes home to his place and he gets accosted by 2 guys who are looking for money, right? They're looking for money.
Yeah, they want
their
they want
wife
$1 million.
owes them money.
Yeah, his wife
Yeah.
owes them money, and they want I think it's $1 million.
But it's kind of weird to the dude because, or Jeffrey Lebowski, because he realizes that, wait a second, I'm not married. So these guys
Yeah.
shove his head in a toilet and pee on his rug. It was a centerpiece that brought the whole room
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
And they leave because they're like, oh shoot, we got the wrong guy. So Jeffrey Lebowski heads to Jeffrey Lebowski's place, or the Big Lebowski, to seek some retribution, because he's like, hold on a second. This is your wife. This is your problem. I want my rug back, man.
Mhm.
And he goes and he meets his, like, not necessarily butler. What is this guy's like relation to him?
Assistant, I guess. You would
Some,
say.
yeah, sure, publicist maybe. like
Assistant,
some
assistant
weird,
of some sort. Yeah.
receptionist. And the Big Lebowski is like, no, we're not going to be doing anything to you. Like, this is your fault, basically, that it happened. And the dude's like, hold on a second, this isn't my fault at all. This is literally your fault. This is your wife. What? And the Big Lebowski basically tells him, like, listen, get out. You're not getting anything.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude lies and he says, guess what? The Big Lebowski, or Jeffrey
Yeah.
Lebowski, says, I can take any rug I'd like. So he
Mhm.
takes his rug and he leaves and he meets Jeffrey's wife, Bunny, and she's like, she's a wife. She's way younger than him.
Trophy wife.
Yeah, sure, trophy wife.
Yeah.
And she's kind of a flirt and other stuff, and
She wants to suck his dick for $1,000.
yeah. To put it blankly. He doesn't have the cash right now, so he's gonna go to an
Gonna go to an
ATM.
ATM.
yeah. But he gets pulled away. He goes home. Whatever. He tells his buddies about this. They're all like, whatever, handy dandy. Some time passes, I guess, and we learn that Bunny is taken.
Mm-hmm.
Bunny is officially kidnapped and gone. But now, instead of being angry about the rug, the Big Lebowski is going to be like, hey, listen, I need to get my wife back. You're going to help me get her back. I'm going to give you, what, $20,000?
$20,000 to be my bag man. Yeah.
To basically give the kidnappers $1 million as like a ransom and get her back for me, because obviously, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're going to do this for me because you stole from me, blah,
Mhm.
blah, 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 blah. Whatever. And you need the cash. And so, whatever. Like, Jeffrey Lebowski's like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. The dude. I'm going to have to keep calling him the dude.
Yeah. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody calls him Mr. Lebowski, it's the dude.
That's the dude, man. So he tells his friends about this. Obviously, Walter, the Vietnam vet, is not really on board. He's kind of like, feels like they could steal the money in
Steal
some
the
way,
$1
or,
million bucks,
or
yeah.
weasel, or do something.
Yeah, they could turn this to their advantage.
Exactly. So he kind of puts that bug in the dude's head, and they go to give this money to the ransomers, but they throw out like Walter's bag of socks instead, and then they crash the car. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. So basically, they've given the ransomers.
I just love where you think he's gonna be like, because he's a vet. He should be able to do something. jumps out, and the package goes with that holds his gun, goes skidding, and starts shooting, shoots out the tire.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fuck, man.
yeah. It doesn't really work out the greatest. So they give the ransomers like the fake money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then we learn a lot of people are upset here because, hold on a second, the Big Lebowski's upset because, dude, you were supposed to give them this money. What happened to it? Where'd you take it? We'll get to the money later. Then like the Russian dudes, whoever, German dudes, I think,
Germans.
yeah, they're upset because they didn't get their money, so they're not going to give money back, and everyone's upset basically. And the Lebowski's car gets kidnapped. Sorry, the dude's car gets kidnapped,
Stolen?
taken, stolen, whatever.
Yeah.
And the plot is crazy. Like in
See,
my head,
that's
a
the thing.
million
There's
synapses
so many
are,
different
are-
things
are
going
firing. It is like a million different things, right? And the money that they've supposedly taken, the $1 million, is also gone with it, right?
Mhm.
So this isn't good for anyone. So now the German dudes are going to take away his Johnson and basically kill him if he doesn't give them their money back. And Bunny's going to die, and the Big Lebowski is going to lose his wife. And if the dude's dead, they can't really participate in the bowling league. So
Mhm.
no one wins, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's this funny line where, he says, "I don't need your sympathy. I need my Johnson." I thought that was pretty funny.
And also, they called it a marmot when they go torture him in the bathtub.
It's definitely a ferret.
It's definitely a ferret. Yeah,
It's definitely a ferret.
that's
yeah.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Which almost makes it funnier.
It is funnier. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. No, it again, a marmot is a pretty obscure animal, so it makes, in my opinion, it makes them almost look smarter that he thought it was an animal. Because, like, I guarantee you, if we went and did like a general like Q&A with people, and like, what's a marmot? I feel like a lot of
Yeah, people aren't gonna know. They might have heard of it, but they're not gonna know.
a weird beaver, like
Yeah.
like,
But to be fair, that whole scene just kind of felt a little bit stupid to me. Like, if somebody dropped a ferret in my bathtub, I'm not that worried. Like, ferrets aren't like I've held ferrets before.
Have you ever been naked in a tub of water with an animal that hates water
Ferrets don't
and
hate water.
possibly has rabies?
Ferrets don't hate water.
I'm assuming that if you dropped a ferret into a dirty bathtub, it would hate you.
I don't think so.
You want to try it?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, take your pants off.
All right. Well, we should get the ferret first.
Maggie. No, I don't know. I feel like a ferret's like an aggressive little thing. They have like little claws.
Yeah, but like
Well,
that's not that bad. All you got to do is grab it with one hand and hold it like this, and it's fine.
I don't know, man. They're kind of
That
crazy.
scene felt weak to me. I'm like, why are you freaking out? It's a fucking ferret. Just grab it with one hand. You're fine.
I thought the scene was pretty funny, man.
Oh, it's
They
funny,
they
but it's also
drop-
ridiculous.
This whole movie's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, that's true. I can't argue with that.
It should have been called The Ridiculous Lebowski.
The ridiculous six.
Yeah. Oh man.
Magnificent Seven. The ridiculous six.
We should have done this in a bowling alley. What are we doing?
I know the owners of the two bowling alleys in town.
All right, redo. Let's go. Cool. We're now here in the bowling alley.
Yeah.
We'll green screen it. I'm gonna set my book up. I've been saying dude a lot.
Dude.
The word dude is used 161 times in this movie.
So it's a just under 2 hour movie. It's like what, an hour 50?
Sure.
Something like that.
Probably what, 2 a minute?
It'll be about 2 a minute.
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad.
The F word is used 280 times, roughly.
Almost double.
Yeah, which is like what, an average of
4 per minute. I would say probably 3 per minute, actually.
yeah, something weird like that. I'm not gonna do the calculations,
Wait, how many
but
times did you say? 280?
280, roughly.
280, and that's 120 minutes, so that's a little over 2 per minute. So
Yeah,
that would be somewhere between 2 and 3 a minute.
yeah, which is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't Sam Elliott be like, you gotta watch your language?
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, there you go. There were so many swear words that for TV, instead of bleeping them, they chose to rename them. So when John Goodman says in the car scene, "This is what happens when you bleep a dude in the ass," in the TV version, it's "This is what happens when you meet a friend in the Alps" or something like that. Yeah.
You know what he means, though.
So crazy things like that
Mhm.
were changed. Just a little bit of a thing, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember watching Identity Thief, uh, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time, on TV when I was younger, when I was probably like 12 or 13. And there were so many F-bombs in that movie, and they didn't bleep, like they bleeped them out, but like it would just go quiet, you know what I mean? And the movie was just constantly going quiet
Yeah.
for a second,
Think
and it was
someone
really
was
funny.
going like this with the volume knob.
Yeah, exactly. um, now the dude has to find his car, right? And while that's going on, he also meets the Big Lebowski's daughter, who kind of like steals the rug back from him and does other things because it's like a family heirloom. And
Called sentimental value.
exactly. And she thinks that, her father, the Big Lebowski, has kind of been up to some stuff, right? She's kind of
She
skeptical.
thinks he's embezzling.
Yeah. And
then she tells him all about how Bunny's a porn star and
yeah.
a bunch of stuff like that. And she's pretty sure that she wasn't actually kidnapped and she's just faking it. And he's like, "Well, we'd already thought that, but I don't think so. Are you sure?" And she's like, "Well, look at these people that kidnapped her. They're her co-stars from some of these movies."
Yes. And she's really just in a different town. She's not like actually kidnapped, isn't she?
Yeah, she went to Salt Lake or something to visit family.
Yeah, really crazy. So we kind of find out that, like, through movie magic and stuff, that, oh, hold on a second, maybe the $1 million wasn't real. And like I'm just gonna jump ahead and go through it, because we basically learned that there was actually no $1 million, and that the Big Lebowski's daughter was right, that he was actually embezzling money and stealing from a charity. And basically, his master plan was to make the dude give these guys the fake money. They'll think it's fake, and not like not the Big Lebowski's fault, because obviously it's some unemployed loser who keeps. Which, weird that they consider him an unemployed loser, because he's literally being paid to do this. So
Yeah, that's funny.
he's doing a job.
Yeah.
What do you mean he's unemployed?
Yeah, good point.
He had one job actually this whole movie, and that
And
was
he
to do
fucked it
that
up.
thing. And basically they are like, okay, we'll kill the dude, and then we'll kill Bunny, and whatever. All while this is happening, the Big Lebowski is going to keep the $1 million. Now he doesn't have to worry about his wife anymore. He can keep $1 million. He doesn't have to worry about the dude messing with him anymore. His life's going to be fine. But the dude figures this all out, and he's like, whoa, hold on a second, man. Like, we better, like, put an end to this, right? And so they go and they confront the Big Lebowski. Bunny's there. She's been there kind of, like, chilling. He accuses him of all this stuff and tells Bunny about it. And then Walter picks him up and accuses him of being of faking being paralyzed.
That's
and he
so funny.
throws him out of his wheelchair, and we realize, like, oh wait, he actually
He
is
is
like
paralyzed.
disabled.
It's almost like they're making fun of that, because that's a classic movie trope. Is they're like, "Wait a minute, you lied." It's like the Scooby Doo, right? Like, "Oh, let's see who's behind this mask," and then they rip the
Yeah,
mask
yeah,
off, and it's
exactly.
something, right? Like they have a hunch, and then it turns out they're right. And they do this a few times throughout the movie, where it's like that exact thing. It's like, "Wait a minute, you're not actually paralyzed," and then oh, you were okay. You're
Yeah,
wrong.
sorry. Yeah, or like when he thinks he uncovers the clue, and it's
Yeah,
really just like a
exactly.
fuse. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a whole other subplot there with the producer
Yes.
who drugs him for like no apparent reason.
It's a Hollywood producer, man.
Yeah, but like
stranger things have happened.
the only thing that happens is that he gets arrested because of it. But like,
yeah, he gets arrested.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Though I will say there was some nice shots in those party scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure. Speaking of drugs, before scenes, Jeff Bridges would ask the Coen brothers if they were like if he had ripped a joint before the scene.
Mhm.
And if the answer was yes, he would go smoke a joint with the Coen brothers before the scene. That didn't happen. Joking.
I'd believe it.
No.
It's
I'm
fucking
joking.
Hollywood, baby.
Basically, what he would do is he would go like the bathroom and he'd rub his eyes a bunch, and they'd be red and watering and whatever.
Wouldn't it just been easier to smoke a joint?
Maybe, and then he'd do the scene. I stole that joke off of someone, by the way.
Again, I could totally see that happening. That's why I didn't laugh.
Well, I stole that joke. So maybe you didn't have to laugh.
Ha 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 ha.
Through
I should
the
win an
movie.
Oscar. Best fake laughing ever.
Through the movie, we kind of find out that Jeff Bridges, although he's unemployed and doesn't really have money to do things, he's been buying things, although he's buying them with checks that like bounce and do whatever. But you know what I mean? Like he's been living and
Yeah.
buying tons of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? How is he affording this house and everything like
That's
that?
kind of what I always wondered.
So this was written in the original version of the script, cut for time, whatever. He's a trust fund kid, apparently. The dude is a trust fund kid. He is the son of the guy who invented the Rubik's Cube. Is basically his origin story.
That's the most random thing ever.
Yeah, and that's where he's getting all this money and stuff like that. Is his dad invented the Rubik's Cube.
You know what?
There you
Good
go.
for him.
There you go.
I mean, we get a little teaser of it, and when he's sleeping with what's his face, Big Lebowski's daughter.
Mm-hmm.
When he's like, "So what do you do?" or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I've done this and that," and he names a few things. But
He was a roadie for Metallica in a made-up tour. What, World of Dreams or something like that? I forget what it
I
was.
don't know.
But yeah, he says he was a roadie and did that. But yes, the Coen brothers' idea, I think it was Joel Coen's idea, was, okay, he's going to be a
trust
trust
fund kid from the
Yeah.
Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
So fun little fact for you there. Now, kind of as we wrap up here, the problem with the Big Lebowski is kind of solved. Whatever, his wife is going to be fine. Whatever, we know he's a POS, but now the Germans are still angry.
Yeah, I
right?
still got to deal with the Germans.
They're still
It's the
angry.
Germans.
They want their $1 million, and they're going to come after whoever they need to get it. So whatever, they blow up the dude's car,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go after them outside of the bowling alley, the trio, right? And Walter won't stand, right? Obviously he's our Vietnam War hero, and he's not going to let dude be bullied because they don't have $1 million, and the Germans need to let go of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they fight to the death, basically. Yeah.
Mhm.
John Goodman bites a guy's ear off,
Guy's ear
whatever.
off.
They
Bowling ball to the nuts.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly. They fight. They destroy each other, and the trio's kind of like won the day. The Lebowski trio is good, ready to go. But then, what's his face?
Donnie has a heart attack.
Donnie has a heart attack. Steve Buscemi, he falls over.
You know what I find interesting though? Is like you said, the Vietnam is his whole character, and when he's like when he sends dude to call for help, what is he doing? He's like, "We're getting a chopper for you, buddy." Well, he's just hanging there. It's like he's back in Vietnam. Like it's
Yeah, I like this scene when he's like outside before he destroys the car. He's looking. Is the kid's name Henry? Is that his name? I forget what his name was. Lenny Henry, something
like that. Yeah.
He looks at the kid. He's like, "You ever heard of Nom Henry?"
Yeah, right.
And then Jeff Bridges is like, "Dude, what does Nom have to do with any of this?" Like, dude, I love it, man. And it's like, how is he the voice of reason in this moment?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
And then he goes and smashes a car that isn't the kid's. I love the kid just doesn't react the entire time. He's like, "Okay, go smash it if you want."
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder, but we never actually really find out who had the money.
There was no money.
Well, yeah, but there was.
The briefcase was nothing. It was filled with like newspapers and books, and so the kid never actually had any money. He found an empty
Right.
briefcase, and so the money was just in the account or whatever of
Right. So he
of-
didn't actually get the money yet. Okay.
I think, or I guess it may have been cash, but it was all to the big,
Yeah,
it
Big
was all to
Lebowski.
Big
Yeah.
Lebowski, and that's what I'm assuming he would have paid the dude with
Yeah.
if he did give them the cash,
Mhm.
he had any cash or whatever. But yeah, that was the charity funds that
Yeah.
they
That
didn't
makes
go to
sense.
anyone. I just keep thinking of the scene where the door opens the other way after
Oh,
he's barricaded. I
so
thought that
good.
was so funny. The theater
So
was
clever.
laughing. Speaking
Yeah.
of theater, thanks to Coliseum Presents for putting
Yes.
on such a great event last night. It was awesome. It was fantastic. It was great. They did a costume contest where they had people kind of dress up as characters. Someone dressed up
We
as
should have just sent Gary.
Walter, and
We should have sent
killed it.
Gary. It would have been
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
He
we
could have
would
just dressed like
really.
himself.
Yeah,
and-
exactly. But no, it was great. So thanks to you guys. It was great turning out the Roxy. So yeah, thanks for that. Go follow them. Coliseum Presents. They have an Instagram. They have a website. Tons of screenings coming up in the city. It's going to be
Lots of
awesome.
good ones.
Yeah, I'm excited. So Donnie's dead.
Yeah.
They go and spread his ashes,
I love the funeral scene.
and Walter.
It's so
does
relatable when they're in the funeral home and they're like, I assume this will be on credit card. And what's this for? It's like we don't need an urn. Oh well, sir, we have to send it in a proper receptacle. And then they go back and forth and they end up with a coffee can. I'm like, that is so
Folgers.
relatable.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
so relatable.
Oh man.
Like it's so friggin' expensive. Like just give it. Like put me in a coffee can. I don't care. I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly. So they go spread his ashes. Walter does a nice speech that turns kind of Hamlet and Nom. He's
It's like a combination of Hamlet and Nom. Yeah.
yeah.
If Shakespeare went through Nom.
Yeah, and then he goes to throw the ashes in the wind, and they all blow back into the
That is
dude's
so
face.
freaking funny.
It's like he's gonna spread his ashes in the ocean like he would have wanted to,
Yeah.
and he throws them up in the air, and they all come.
The only
flying around.
the only thing I would have loved to have seen to make this movie better when they're making those kind of jokes where they're like poking fun at these super serious scenes is a lot more cinematic shots. Like the shooting of this is pretty stock, right? And I would have loved like that scene right there would have been so funny to like have him like step closer to the edge and like sweeping drone shot around the front, and the cinematic music.
Oh,
and then
really build up the moment.
Yeah, and then it pushes in and he goes to, and then it just blows back,
yeah, like maybe a shot of him coughing out.
Yeah,
some of the ashes.
exactly.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. So they go and they play bowling, and that's basically the end of the movie, right? They don't really change. I mean, they're down a member of their bowling squad now, but yeah. I mean, obviously we were missing key details and stuff like that, but we got the story out there.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about doing is he orders the White Russian every time.
Yes.
I'm like, so I looked it up what it is. I'm like, oh, that actually looks really good. I was like, I should buy the stuff for that, and we can have a White Russian while we do the episode. But alcohol is really expensive. So
they actually served them at the Roxy.
Oh, really cool.
On the other day. Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna have one next time I'm out.
Yeah, it was really cool. Well, I don't think they have them anymore.
No, but I mean like next time I'm out somewhere.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Next time we go play pool or something.
Yeah, we got to do that soon. Like I said, chemistry between the trio, it's real good, man.
I mean, I would say more between the duo, because Donnie doesn't really have much to do.
Just shut up, Donnie.
Yeah, literally, his only
Meg.
chemistry is to interrupt at the right time,
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude doesn't change at all. Now, that's not like a critique in my opinion. I think it's true to his character, and I think it makes his character more real.
I think it would be. I don't think it matters, because the movie's still entertaining, right? If the movie was like not as entertaining, then I would say it would matter, because obviously they didn't do that aspect of the character well. But since they did it that way and it works, I don't have a problem with it, because obviously they succeeded. I mean, you can break the rules if it works.
And I feel like the story is developed with this character in mind, that like we know our character's not going to change, and he's just kind of like going with the flow or whatever, and abiding to life. But yeah, like otherwise I feel like, you know what I mean? Like if it was like, if he was going through an actual hero's journey and doing something, but he's really kind of just like there for the ride. So I feel like,
really, like he's not really much of a hero. He just kind of does whatever.
yeah, I wouldn't call it like really, he's not really a hero, because he's just like, he doesn't try. Like if we're being honest, he doesn't really try. He's just kind of, he's there. And that makes it more believable, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like all of a sudden one day he got up and had initiative. He was just like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
wanted his rug back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, if someone peed on your rug and it really brought the room together, who wouldn't want the rug back?
Yes, exactly. Um,
I don't really have anything more, honestly. Like, this movie it's funny, but there's not a lot to, like, it's funny and it's good, but there's not a lot to critique, really. I mean, like, it just,
yeah.
it just is what it is, you know?
Yeah, and like I said, I definitely feel like this is an easier watch in pieces. And
Mhm.
I never say that about movies. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff in this movie that might be better if you just like watched it just on its own.
Yeah, individual scenes and stuff.
And I think it only works because it's absurd, right? Like it doesn't take itself seriously. It knows what it is. And I do think like some of the dialogue is hilarious for how unnatural it is. It feels natural.
Yeah.
It feels like a weird statement to make, but it's really it's just people swearing at each other and making absurd references that don't make sense or crazy metaphors.
Yeah.
But it's like exactly what you'd expect from these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think that's pretty commendable on the actors' parts, and I think that's pretty cool on a writing perspective, right? I think like, oh hey, it's kind of awesome to see something so unconventional work in a way that's, maybe different than a lot of people expect,
Yep.
right? And I didn't really learn anything new. You know what I mean? Like I didn't
I learned
come
about
up
a
with a
White
new.
Russian.
a
I've
new
never had a White
perspective.
Russian before, and I fully intend to have one.
Yeah, okay, sure. So that's something. We
learned.
learned something along the way, right? I think Jeff Bridges does a fantastic job as the dude. I really think he pulls it together and
Yeah.
almost makes a lifestyle of doing absolutely nothing seem almost desirable to some people, right? And
Well,
that's
yeah,
like
and like that's the
crazy.
thing. Like, I mean, when your character doesn't really do anything or have any initiative or any goals, I feel like that's going to be a hard character to act because, like, most of the time when you're in a movie, your character or your emotions that you're portraying as the characters come from them wanting or needing something, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so to portray such an emotionless character when emotions is like the cornerstone of acting, it's really challenging.
Yeah, I don't think emotionless is the right word.
No,
He's
not
definitely an
necessarily
emotional
emotionless,
character.
but not like big outbursts and soliloquies and things like that, right? Like it's like you said, it's very laid back and there's not like any like huge moments.
Right. It's more unconventional.
Yeah.
Like he is reacting and having emotions, but like that's what you're worried about? Like
Mhm.
he was beat up in his house and swirlied in his own toilet, but the worst part about it was that someone peed on his rug to him.
Okay, but would you rather
know
be
what I mean?
swirlied in your own toilet or someone else's toilet?
His toilet didn't look very clean, I'm gonna be honest.
Water looked pretty clean.
His toilet did not look clean whatsoever. I would just rather not have my head in the toilet. Like
If
like,
someone was going to swirl you, if I was going to swirl you right now, there's no way you got out of it. Would you rather be swirled in your own toilet or Gary's toilet?
my toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, if my toilet had looked like that toilet, I would have said Gary's toilet. You know what I mean?
I don't think it was
I
that
just
dirty.
know the state of my toilet because I cleaned it yesterday. So
Fair enough.
I kind of know what the state of it's looking like.
I
His
just got
toilet had never been cleaned.
I just got a new toilet.
Yes,
I'm
you
very
6 a.m.
excited
installed
about
it. Yes.
Yes, it was very fun.
Yes.
Very comfortable. The thing I wish we had is one of those extendable, bidet things where they're like, it's like in the toilet bowl, and it like when you flush it like shoots out, and then
You have a bidet?
no, I don't. But I'm saying I wish it had one of those
Why?
because it would be fun.
Oh, I just don't. I don't like the feeling of like the water kissing you while you like stand up. That's so gross. No, I like actually can't stand bidets. Like it's actually kind of gross to me. Oh, like just the feeling would
What do
be
you
so
mean?
gross. Of like, when you like take like a big one in there
Yeah.
and it splashes up in
Yeah.
the water and you're like, oh, You know
Yeah,
what I
but you can get heated bidets.
no. I just like so weird, man. Like
Oh, you're
wipe
weird.
like just like a normal person or go sit in the shower for a minute. Like I just like I don't like I just like
Weirdo.
so weird. No bidets for E-Dog. Sorry. Yeah, I mean I really don't have much to say. It's absurd, it's wacky. It's yeah, like I don't know. I think it's definitely an enjoyable watch. I don't think it's like anything too crazy, but I can see why for a lot of people this has been like a really enjoyable movie to go
Mhm.
back to and rewatch and
Mhm.
have a little bit of fun, right?
Yep.
And I think some of those things that like are just stupid and absurd are just like what makes some of these movies kind of special,
Yep.
right? And yeah,
All right, let's rate it and get out of here.
what do you rate it?
7.
Hmm. 7.5 for me. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's fun. It's stupid.
It's enjoyable.
Yeah. It's not all over the place.
I'd say it would.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's a cluster,
Clusterfuck.
Yeah. And I think there is some just really funny moments. I've been thinking like consistently about how he barricades the door and it opens the
Yeah.
other way. I just think that's so good, dude. Like I
Mhm.
just like it's
Well,
so
it's
funny.
such good writing and filmmaking too. To
Yeah.
come up with something like that. Like
Yeah, just dumb
that's half the
humor.
battle is writing comedy like that.
Exactly, yeah. And it works.
Yeah.
So that's basically all I have.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, thank you guys for watching the viewing room. We do have an Instagram at the viewing room _ as well as a Patreon, Dufferin Ave Media. So thank you guys very much for watching. Last week we did release our Oscars party episode. So if you haven't seen that yet, go see
Yep.
some of our discussions on there. Obviously, Nora won Best Picture. We did talk about that for a bit and some of our predictions.
Lots of fun trivia in there. I make sure we kept all the trivia in
Yeah.
the cut down. So
Yeah.
we cut 4.5 hours down into 2 hours.
Cool.
So yeah.
50% ish,
Yeah.
60%, something like that. I don't know.
That was a lot of editing.
Quick math. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. We hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next Tuesday for our next movie, which we will reveal on our Instagram Wednesday. So, thank you all for watching.
Reveal it the day after.
Bye. Yeah, the day after. No, like the day after this next episode drops.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And I really I was just saying things. I have no idea when we're revealing the next thing. I just said Wednesday was the date.
Yeah. You know what? Good.
Bye.
I'm keeping that in.